The Sumo path, a philological interpretation of the Ōzeki and Yokozuna as archetypes of initiation and transcendence. In the ancient sport of Sumo, the journey from Ōzeki to Yokozuna is not merely a progression of rank, but a representation of the archetypal path of human growth, transformation, and transcendence. Through the philological exploration of the kanji characters for these ranks, one can discern a deeper symbolic meaning that speaks to the universal human experience, one that is resonant with the journey of the modern person. The Ōzeki and Yokozuna embody thresholds of initiation and culminations of perfection, corresponding to the path of the modern warrior standing at the edge of potential. The Ōzeki, the liminal warrior, the threshold of mastery. The kanji for Ōzeki are composed of O, meaning great or large, and Zeki, meaning barrier, checkpoint, or gate, while the literal meaning of barrier can be understood as a defender of a space. In the context of Sumo, it takes on a more nuanced interpretation. Instead of representing a passive obstruction, the character, Zeki, becomes the liminal space, a threshold, much like the torii gate in Shinto rituals. The torii is a sacred boundary marking the transition between the human world and the divine, and in Sumo, the Ōzeki stands as a threshold between the current state of mastery and the ultimate perfection represented by the Yokozuna. This liminality is central to understanding the Ōzeki's role. The Ōzeki has achieved greatness and is recognized for his skill, strength, and perseverance. However, he is not yet above the struggle. Just as a farmer works diligently through the seasons, weathering challenges and harnessing the forces of nature, the Ōzeki stands at the precipice, aware of the impending harvest, yet vulnerable to failure. He has proven himself, but is still required to act, strive, and compete to maintain his place. The Ōzeki is the modern person in the midst of a journey, standing at the threshold of his potential. This is a position of transformation, where the individual must face inner struggles and navigate external forces, a place where vision, effort, and intention converge, yet still subject to the whims of fortune. In this liminal space, mastery is still being forged. The Ōzeki embodies the balance of achievement and anticipation, embodying the archetype of the initiated warrior who stands ready for the next step, the final challenge. The Yokozuna, the ultimate fusion of talent, spirituality, and achievement. In contrast to the Ōzeki, the Yokozuna represents the culmination of mastery. The kanji for Yokozuna are composed of Yoko, meaning horizontal or side to side, and Zuna, meaning rope. The horizontal nature of this character, Yoko, symbolizes stability, unshakable balance, and the transcendence of the struggle. The rope, in this context, is not merely a physical cord, but a sacred thread binding the individual to the cosmos. A symbol of unity and perfection, the Yokozuna, therefore, is the one who has reached the zenith of achievement, where struggle gives way to perfect harmony. The rope, often associated with Shimenawa, a sacred boundary marker in Shinto rituals, also implies a spiritual dimension. The Yokozuna is no longer just a fighter. He is a perfected representation of Sumo's cosmic order. He has transcended the realm of battle and become a living embodiment of balance, integration, and totality. The Yokozuna is the fusion of physical strength, spiritual wisdom, and mastery, the manifestation of a journey completed. In this way, the Yokozuna embodies the archetype of the warrior who has transcended the limitations of struggle and has achieved unity with the universe. This transcendent state is is not just a mark of victory, but a profound fusion of the physical and spiritual worlds, where talent and spirituality come together in perfect balance, where achievement is not simply the result of external forces, but the natural outcome of an inner transformation. So the warrior, the modern warrior, standing at the threshold of potential. When examining sumo through the lens of these ranks, it becomes clear that the journey from Ōzeki to Yokozuna mirrors the process of personal and spiritual growth. The modern person, much like the Ōzeki, stands at the edge of potential, facing the liminal space between who they are and who they can or could become. This is the moment of self-examination, challenge, and preparation, the space where one must prepare for the ultimate confrontation with their inner and outer worlds. Like the farmer tending his field, the modern person must work, strive, and learn to overcome obstacles in pursuit of self-mastery. The Yokozuna, then, represents the ideal culmination, the point where the struggle gives way to mastery, where all the pieces come together in perfect unity, and the individual becomes an embodiment of the art they have pursued. This is not merely an end, but a new beginning, the achievement of a state of being that goes beyond external success and reaches into the very fabric of existence itself. So in conclusion, the archetypes of initiation and transcendence in sumo. By interpreting the Ōzeki and Yokozuna not just as ranks within a competitive sport, but as archetypes of the warrior's journey, we can draw meaningful connections between sumo and broader human experience. The Ōzeki stands at the threshold, a warrior in the midst of becoming, while the Yokozuna embodies the culmination of that journey, a perfected fusion of strength, wisdom, and balance. This path of initiation and transcendence speaks to every individual's quest for self-realization, mastery, and spiritual integration. In this light, sumo becomes more than just a sport. It's a metaphor for life itself, reflecting the struggles, the transformations, and the ultimate achievements that define the human condition. Just as the farmer tends his rice fields with awareness, patience, and skill, so too must we approach the journey of becoming, learning, growing, and mastering our inner and outer worlds on the way to the Yokozuna state of perfected balance and integration. In this way, sumo speaks to us all, not just as an ancient sport, but as a living philosophy. Thank you.